Welcome back to the Wizards of Amazon podcast, your weekly blueprint for explosive success. I'm Carlos Alvarez, full-time successful Amazon seller and organizer of the largest Amazon seller meetup group in the world. Let's do this. Welcome to the Wizards of Amazon podcast, where we cover all things private label. My name is Carlos Alvarez, and I will be your host for the show. On today's episode, I'm going to share with you 3 Kickstarter success tips I do not hear many people speaking about, and they have been super successful for me in pulling off successful crowdfunding campaigns. Before getting into the episode, I wanted to share 2 bits of news and I guess a bit of a teaser I feel are super important in regards to our amazing Amazon meetup, which I do understand that some of our listeners to this show are not yet a member of. I feel the main reason for that, when I have the honor of meeting somebody that listens to this show, is that you feel you're not local to South Florida and therefore cannot attend in person, so you don't really see the relevancy. So I'm going to share some really good news in regards to that. I'm also going to share a really cool offering that I've done a bad job this last year of sharing with everybody that's listening to the show, as well as a bit of news about the show. So let's get this out of the way. So one is we now have a really easy way to share the group. Previously, for those of you that have had a friend and you're like, how do I get people to get to the group? And unless you're like within a 50-mile radius, our group lives on meetup.com. So if you search from anywhere outside of that, even if you searched, Amazon seller or Amazon FBA, it probably won't come up. Now, if you went to Google and put, Amazon seller meetups, we come up. We're the largest one in the world, so you can't miss it. But it's not a very frictionless way to get people to join the group. So I should have did this a long time ago, but we now have a very memorable URL, which I'll share with you in a second, that if you go to this URL, it's just going to take you directly to our group. So if you go to amazonsellermeetup.com, you will find our group and be able to join it. It's 100% free. That is also going to give you all the updates you want on, once you've joined, for all of the upcoming events that we have and all that other good information. So amazonsellermeetup.com. This is also the link you want to let people know about and share when you have a friend that's, an Amazon seller of any level or any selling model, arbitrage, wholesale, private label, regardless. Just refer them to amazonsellermeetup.com. Number 2, we have a ton of offerings in our meetup group, but one that I feel is the most important, and I've done a poor job of sharing, is we have a ridiculously active Amazon group chat on Telegram. So Telegram's a free app. You'd have to download the app. But the easy way to join our Telegram group chat is by going to amazongroupchat.com. Now, when you go to amazongroupchat.com, there's 2 steps. One of them is downloading the app, and the other one is when you have the app, you click on the button, and it's the link to our group so you can join. When you join the Wizards of Ecom chat, and that's where you learn the group rules. You update your profile, and then you see all of the other groups, like chat groups that we have, and you can request to join. So we have different areas of Amazon. Like we have a very active wholesale chat group. We have just our Amazon private label seller chat group. We have our main Amazon seller chat group. We have our advanced chat group, the cruise, the China trip. Like all these different things have their own chat rooms, and we're always rolling out new chat rooms for this group. So take a second and join us there. It's probably the only app that I have open all day long too, so it's the easiest way to connect with me and talk with me about whatever or ask any questions you have. So, okay, enough podcast news. Let's talk Kickstarter and Amazon. What is Kickstarter? Don't worry, I'm not going to spend the whole episode talking about this, but for anyone listening to this, or for you perhaps listening to this, it's a crowdfunding platform for new and innovative items, or not. I mean, you don't have to, you technically could put a Me Too product up there on Kickstarter. Kickstarter's not going to disqualify you. What happens is, though, is you have a lot of people that are into backing these new and innovative items on Kickstarter. And I refer to them as just people native to Kickstarter. It's like organic backers on Kickstarter. And when they see a Me Too product or copy product or something that's not new and innovative, they will shred you. For having that product. They'll just clobber you in the reviews in the comment section of your Kickstarter, of your Kickstarter's campaign page. We had a guest speaker in our advanced Amazon seller meetup group yesterday. And the advanced group is just two of the 16 events we have per month. This is the only event that's sort of gated. So to attend these 2 events per month, and they're on Zoom, you have to prove by a screenshot to me, and it's kept in confidence, that you're selling in excess of $1 million a year, and your trailing 3 months are over 100,000 a month. So in this advanced event, we had a guest speaker, Adrian Kwiatkowski. I hope I said his name right, but he recently crushed his funding goal by 420%. And he confirmed this. So like Me Too products, products that are not new or innovative, they're going to get clobbered on Kickstarter. So I learned a bunch. If you're not a member of the Video Vault where that recording of that session was, definitely check it out at meetupeventrecordings.com. But it's a place where you can fund your products, and you have an idea, you put it up there, and some people you don't know and other people you do know, or people you reach by paid ads, they can look at the product and then look at the pledges that you have, which is like, contribute $5 and we'll send you a sticker. Contribute $10 and we'll send you a video thanking you. Contribute $25 and we'll give you the product. You'll be the first one to get it. And you just keep going with these pledges, pledge 500 and we'll send you 6 products or whatever. The higher you go, you might have extra features that only higher pledges can get. But that is Kickstarter in a nutshell. If not, you just go to kickstarter.com. They do an amazing job, and they have a great resource library that'll clearly let you know what your product's about. And then you can look at the categories there to see like what is being featured and currently is up and looking to be funded. So the anatomy of a Kickstarter. You have the title, the video, the body description, the pledges, the marketing. That sums up all of it. I think Kickstarter has different terminology on what they are. The title, for obvious reasons, super important, just like your Amazon product detail page. Video here, I would equate video to, everything. Video is pretty critical. Video is showing off your product or your idea, your prototype to someone that has no idea. It's an opportunity for them to connect with you. Even if you could have somebody else do the video for you, but it's a great opportunity to let people connect with you. Cool thing here is it doesn't need to be avatar quality, high produced. You just need to have a good video. Some people do. Some people have, Star Wars type quality graphics on there, and others are just selfie style. And I've seen both succeed. It really depends on what you're trying to fund. But title, video, body description, pledges, and marketing, each one of those is extraordinarily involved. It's a full-time effort to put all of that together. You're also probably going to have to work with a lot of other people to pull it off. Now, since this is a lot, this is why I think the 3 often overlooked Kickstarter success tactics that I'm going to share with you right now will help you crush it on Kickstarter. So let's get right to that. Again, like I promised, I don't want to go into a super deep dive as to, what is Kickstarter and all of that. This is not meant to be a basic intro to Kickstarter. I can say that Kickstarter is absolutely amazing to launch a product, to get funding to launch a product, to build a list, to build an email list. Absolutely amazing for that. Also, in a bit of a sneaky way, it's a phenomenal way to go about sourcing a new idea for a product. Just keep in mind, if you do use, because what happens is a lot of these people that are, they have something on Kickstarter, they have zero clue. They have less than zero clue on the logistics and the manufacturing side of the campaign. That's not true for everybody. You have some Amazon sellers now that are just experts at that part, and they're on Kickstarter. So, but for the most part, most people I found are not. So what happens is if you see an idea and you verify that this thing's not patented or patent pending or anything like that, you can technically beat them to market and eat their lunch. So ethics on that is definitely questionable, but it is one other area of Kickstarter that perhaps we'll talk about in the future. So let's do it. So number 1, the one hack that, and again, there are hundreds of hacks for Kickstarters. These are the 3, though, I feel have really, really, really been the small hinge that swings the big door for success in Kickstarter, and that I don't hear anyone talking about or anyone doing. So this one, I'm going to call it fund your way to the top. This is something I have been doing now, I think since Kickstarter started almost. And I don't recall if it's something that I came up with on my own or if I was inspired by something somebody else says. So I'm not going to take full credit for this, but what I do is I have a small budget every month, and it stays between $150 to $250 every month. You don't have to start that way. So if $100 to $250 is too much for you, you could totally do this with $25, $50. And what I do is Kickstarter is broken up by categories. So if I know, let's say that I want to get into the coffee accessory, I want to get into the coffee space, or let's do dance. So I'll use my Salsa Kings brand as an example here. So let's say that I want to come up with, I want to launch a pair of innovative dance shoes. Like maybe the heel has this like special thing on it that won't mark up the floor and also gives you just enough grip without being too sticky. I don't even know if that's a thing, but we'll go with that. Now, let's say I have no audience, which I do, but let's pretend I don't. What you can do to build that audience and sort of fund your way to the top is set a budget to the side every month, go to that category. So let's say the dance and arts category. Find the other dance related Kickstarters that are going on and back them. $5 here, $20 there, whatever your budget allows, back them. Now remember, if the Kickstarter is not successfully funded, so if you see someone that is requesting, $3,500 in funding or $35,000, it doesn't matter. They're requesting a number in funding and they don't reach that number at the end of the 30 days. They don't get anything. They get no money. So if you pledge some money or you back a Kickstarter campaign and it's not successfully funded, you don't lose anything. So you're really only backing the winners if you think about it. Now, what happens is you have now backed a campaign who has an audience of people that you really want to connect with. And these people that are backing them, the creator of this Kickstarter, he or she has their ear. So when you back them and you start sharing their campaign on social media and maybe successfully get a few other people to back this with a couple dollars, that is everything to the Kickstarter creator. I've seen some people reach out to someone who has an active Kickstarter campaign and start talking about the Kickstarter campaign that they want to launch and if they want to back theirs. Don't do that. Bad. You don't want it. Like when someone's doing the Kickstarter, remember title, video, body description, pledges, and marketing. They're all in on this right now. They don't want to talk about your Kickstarter. They want to talk about theirs. There'll be a time for yours later. But the best way to get their attention immediately is to back theirs. And then what happens is every time you comment on the Kickstarter campaign, or if they're putting out a Facebook group or anything else where they want to give updates, every time you see somebody else comment, and this is something I even task out to a virtual team member, we jump in there and we like thumbs up or we heart. We're like, I know this is so amazing. Look, here's a screenshot. I just shared it out here. And you do all that. You really get the attention of the person running the Kickstarter. And what happens almost every time, well, let me tell you, every time that this happens, that the campaign is actually successful, meaning fully funded, the person running the campaign or the team running the campaign, they reach out to me and we are able to advance that relationship. I still do not mention anything about my idea for a Kickstarter. Otherwise, I feel like my pledge, they may see it as disingenuous or, that I have some ulterior motive. My motives are not as pure as they seem. So, I don't mention anything about that. And I just engage with their audience. I engage with them. I ask them other ways that I could help them get the word out. And then what happens is once they successfully pull off this campaign, the 5, 10, 25, 50, whatever, your pledge amount, your backing amount is deducted from your account and it goes towards them. I keep the relationship going after that, offering my help in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And if this is a niche that you plan on getting into, remember, you probably really can help. You probably do have an audience or an idea. If you do, you could totally send this out to your people. Only time I wouldn't do this is if you want to launch a coffee grinder and the person's launching a coffee grinder, because that kind of shoots you in the foot. But besides that, once they've pulled off this campaign, once they've delivered these products, and I'm doing this every month, so it gets to a point where every single week I have people that have successfully pulled off their campaign, have successfully fulfilled their end of the bargain. I've been in contact with them. I've been offering to help. And then I mentioned this idea that I had. Sometimes I even say, and this is partly true, sometimes I even say that I was inspired by what they did to do this. And I'd love to bend their ear and ask how they did it. And, you know, I could really use their support. Is there any types of support that they would be able to offer? 9 times out of 10, they back you. They back you. They give you access to your audience, to their audience, and you can use those audiences all in the same niche, so they're all relevant, to like super back, put rocket fuel on your Kickstarter campaign when you launch it. So I call that one funding your way to the top. And it's amazing. It could totally fall into the realm of strategic partnerships. It costs almost nothing. Think of it as a marketing expense that you're spending a little bit every month to build this awesome audience of influencers. All right. Number 2, have previous Kickstarter campaign successes under your belt. I cannot emphasize how impactful this is. When someone is looking at your profile on Kickstarter, they can see what campaigns you're backing. They can also see what campaigns you've successfully backed, that you've successfully created and had backed. What I have found, and Kickstarter has not been able to confirm this, a friend of mine, Tom, actually may be able to connect me with somebody at Kickstarter that can totally confirm this or not. But what I have seen, it looks clear to me, is that the more successful Kickstarters campaigns that you've started, funded, and followed through with, that you have under your belt, the more love the Kickstarter algorithm gives you in putting you, front and center on the first page, getting you in front of the majority of the native backers on their platform, and that's everything. So this is the difference between pulling off your funding goal minutes left on the 30-day mark or crushing your entire funding goal in 6 hours. So what I like to do here, and this is definitely, let's see, I'm not going to call it black hat, but it definitely works. Like you use your judgment on how you do this. So what I do is, if I know that I wanted to launch this, tango dance shoe or this salsa dance shoe, and I knew that my funding goal that I wanted to hit was, let's just say, $20,000. Instead of that $20,000 campaign being my first campaign, what I do is I will first create 2 or 3 campaigns that I'm only trying to get, 1,500 for, 3,000 for, then 5,000 for. That does a few things. One, it attracts more people to me and my offerings in this space. 2, I'm able to make a whole bunch of people happy because they backed something and I was able to deliver on what I promised. And 3, Kickstarter sees this as gold. Like, you have really impress them with your history in pulling off successful Kickstarters. So they're going to give you a lot of love in the algorithm and show you to a lot more people. Finally, when you do go for this bigger, main objective Kickstarter campaign, what happens is the people that are like, wow, is he really going to be able to pull this off? This seems really complicated. They're going to check out your profile before they pledge some money to you. So they're going to check out your Kickstarter profile. And when they see that, not only do you have a good idea and they're curious about it, but that you have successfully pulled off stuff before, a lot of the times that's going to get you that pledge without them even thinking. So have previous Kickstarter campaign successes under your belt. It's amazing. So that's 2 of them. Fund your way to the top and have previous Kickstarter campaign successes under your belt. This final one is probably less glamorous to most people than the first 2, but I have seen a lot of Kickstarter campaigns fail. I've been up late at night trying to connect the dots to make a Kickstarter campaign succeed that shouldn't have been as hard as it was. So I've done this the wrong way. And I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you don't do this, you're going to have issues with your Kickstarter, or it's going to be harder than it should be. And another thing I want to throw in here is a successful Kickstarter campaign. I'm sure there's some that have done this and it's defying what I'm saying, but for 99% of the time, if you're out with your buddies and you have this idea, you're like, hey babe, or hey guys, like I think this would be a great Kickstarter campaign. And everyone's like, yeah. And you go on your phone and you just create a Kickstarter campaign and you put together a little video that you got on Fiverr for $10. That's not good. Like there's a lot that goes into a Kickstarter, as we mentioned before, that I find that successful Kickstarters take 4 to 6 months minimum of advanced planning and lining things up before actually going live on the Kickstarter. I mean, you might want to contract with agencies and different tools that can help your Kickstarter success. So like you don't want to like launch your Kickstarter and then be behind the 8 ball trying to do this. I think 4 to 6 months. I think you should err closer to 6 months. But one of those things that you should be doing, I feel like maybe on month 5, circling back on month 3, and then again on month 1, week 2, week 1, day of, really, is put together. I have it like I wrote a little bullet here so that I could recall like how I call this, and that's create a hit list. And this hit list is not as awful as it sounds, but that is, you have probably experienced why this is important. And that is, you get a private label product and you're thinking, I have so many friends and family. And like, let's say you're not connected on Facebook and, the review would stick. Like, let's put terms of service to the side for a second. And what happens is you're like, oh, I have these 15 people and they're all friends of mine. So like, they're all going to leave me a product review. And then you get the product and you realize how hard it is to actually get someone to just spend $20 on this product when you need them to spend it with the keywords you want them to search for. And even if you're offering a refund, and then get them to leave you a review and know specifically where to go to click on this, to buy you understand quickly how difficult it is. It's beyond frustrating. And I've almost found that it's easier with a total stranger than it is with family and friends. That gets into my saying about familiarity breeds disrespect, but that's a whole other topic. So what this accomplishes here in this create a hit list is it forces you to get organized. And the way I go about this is I will just go through all of my contacts. This also helps because when I get to someone on my contact list on my phone and I'm like, oh God, this person would just make me feel bad if I even text them and ask this. This might be a good opportunity just to remove them from your contact list in your life. But I go through this contact list. That's besides the point. I go through this contact list and then I will put each contact on an Excel spreadsheet, or a Google sheet rather, so that my team can access it easy. And then I put their phone number right beside it. So I'm very organized. I can keep track of when I call them. And what I'm going to do once I get through that whole list is I'm going to look at how many people are actually on my Google Sheet list that I feel would be open to backing me. And this really puts things in perspective. So when you do this, I then will craft a text message that I'm going to send to all of them individually. And it's letting them know as short as possible what this idea you have, that you're going to launch it on Kickstarter, maybe a line or two about what Kickstarter is, that it's not going to cost them much at all to pledge, or whatever your pledge amount that you'd like them to pledge you for. And you'd like to know, and that it's you plan on launching this on X date. So mention this, date range in the future. And you'd like to know that if you can count on them for support on this at that time. If they say yes, you put them in you put a yes column. If they say no or don't reply, you also reflect that. Don't be too spammy, obviously. If they don't want to reply, maybe they want to say no and they don't know how to say no. But this is going to give you extra clarity on not only the list of people you thought would say yes, but the people that even, actually responded with yes. I also like to keep in mind how long it took for these people to reply to me, because when it gets actually time for the Kickstarter and you want to get people, certain people buying on certain days to really show a lot of consistent traffic to Kickstarter, you can keep this in mind. If, Betty takes 8 days to reply and you need her to buy on day 1, you might not want to message her on day 1 because it takes a while. Then what I do is, as we get closer, say month 5, month 3, month 1, and then however you want to do it. And then, each week leading up to, you're circling back with them, reminding them that, hey, this is happening. I'm super excited. We've made a ton of progress. Their support's going to be amazing. Can I still count on you for, the amount that they said, and that they'll buy it on the day that this thing launches. And you keep doing that all the way through to keep it fresh. And I guess it also serves as God, I need to go ahead and do this because I've been promising them that I would do this for so long. The reason I do not do this on email is, first of all, you probably do not have, anywhere near a large number of the actual emails of the people that are on your phone. So it just creates a ton more work. Also, email is easier to ignore. I'm not going to lie. So these are people remember, not total strangers, and you can send them a text. As a matter of fact, they've probably sent you some annoying texts before if you feel good enough to send them, this ask for Kickstarter. So keep it on SMS. And I've not used a tool like Slick Text or anything like that to do this. I'm messaging them one by one. It's like a copy paste from my phone, and I'm going off my hit list and reaching out. So it's work when I'm actually doing this. It takes a couple hours of reaching out to each person individually. Some of them are like, oh my God, I want to talk to you on the phone. Some of them are like, I haven't spoken to you in 6 months. Let's catch up. So there's a lot that's going on there. And it's another reason why you should do this way in advance. But every time I've created this hit list, my Kickstarter campaign launch just crushed it. I don't want to be totally reliant on just going onto Facebook and my personal profile or my Facebook page or group and just saying, hey, Kickstarter campaign's out, everybody backs it, because my reach is throttled on these campaigns. Like, I don't want to rely on that. I know my text message is going to go through to this person, and this is more of a known and less of an unknown. So fund your way to the top, have previous Kickstarter campaign success under your belt, and create a hit list. So I really hope that these 3 tactics that I've used to crush some Kickstarter campaigns are help for you in launching and successfully funding one of your Kickstarter campaigns. I'm going to wrap this episode up. Please remember to connect with the group and fellow listeners of this podcast in our private Telegram chat group. I'd really sincerely love to hear your feedback of this episode and the other ones, as well as grow together as Amazon sellers. Remember, you can connect with us at Amazon and groupchat.com. Finally, for those book nerds out there or members of the Entrepreneurs Book Club who enjoy keeping tabs on what I am reading, I'm currently reading Everyone's a Critic by Bill Lancer. This book was recommended by Dima Kubrak at a recent Amazon seller meetup event on winning the battle of, I believe the title of the event was Winning the Battle for Product Reviews in 2021. It was really good. Dima never fails to impress. Again, you can watch that video at the meetup event recordings.com. The book's about, in case anyone wants to get it, I just really got into it, so I'm not at a point that I could highly recommend it. But the book is about how businesses can and should harness the power of online consumer reviews. Let me know what you think about the book. I'll follow up in the Telegram chat, letting you know what I thought about the book. But I look forward to talking to everybody next week. Next 2 episodes, I already know what they're going to be. I normally don't, drop what they're about here, but it's the end of the episode. Everyone, if you stayed here until the end, you're getting a sneak peek into the next 2 episodes. And those 2 episodes are going to be, we have Leron Hirschkorn coming on the show. And we have a really solid connection from my favorite, China inspection company, VTrust, on the show. Another reason to jump into the Telegram chat is if you had any questions that you feel would be great for either of these speakers in the upcoming show, you could drop them in there and I may ask them. So enough rambling. Much love. Thank you guys so much for your support on this show. I look forward to talking to you next week. Liked what you heard and want to stay connected? Join our Facebook group or find me anywhere on social media at Wizards of Amazon, or text the word Amazon to 69922.